Okay, picture your spine for a second. What do you see? Probably something like a straight, strong pole, right? Well, what if I told you that's all wrong? That the real secret to your spine's amazing power isn't its straightness, it's all in its curves. And we're about to dive into why that is.
I mean, we've all heard it a million times, right? Sit up straight, don't slouch. And we all get this picture in our heads of a perfectly straight ramrod back. But is that actually what we should be aiming for? Is a perfectly straight spine even good for you?
The answer is a huge, surprising no. A perfectly straight spine is not the ideal. Your spine isn't supposed to be a rigid rod. Think of it more like a high-tech, super advanced spring. An S-shaped spring, actually. And understanding this one thing, it's going to completely flip how you think about your posture.
All right, so why the S-curve? What's the big deal? Well, it's not some random design flaw. It's actually a brilliant piece of natural engineering. It's what gives your spine some serious superpowers. Let's get into why this S-shape is such a marvel.
Okay, so this S-curve gives you three main superpowers. First, it's a fantastic shock absorber. Second, it lets your spine support way more weight than you'd think. And third, it's this perfect blend of being both flexible and stable.
And this is a great way to think about it. Imagine you're driving a car with no suspension. You'd feel every single bump, right? It'd be awful. Well, if your spine were a straight rod, every step you took would send a jolt right up to your brain. Ouch! But that S-curve, it's like the suspension in a super high-end car, just smoothly absorbing all those impacts and keeping everything safe and sound.
And get this is pretty mind-blowing. Because of that S-curve, your spine can handle 10 times more weight and pressure than if it were straight. That's insane. It's the whole reason you can walk around all day with your head, which is basically a bowling ball, on top of your neck without any issues. It's just an incredibly smart design.
Okay, so this S-shape is obviously a huge deal, but what is it exactly? How's it built? Well, the whole blueprint really comes down to just two different kinds of curves that work together. First up, you've got what's called lordosis. Just think of it as the inward curve. You have one in your neck, that's what helps hold up your head. And you've got another one in your lower back. And that one is super important for your balance, for your center of gravity.
And the opposite of that is kyphosis. This is the outward curve. The big one is in your mid-back, and it's attached to your ribs. It basically creates this protective space for your heart and your lungs. Then there's another one way down at the bottom at your sacrum.
So when you stack them all up, you get this amazing pattern. From the top down, it goes inward at the neck, outward in the middle of your back inward at your lower back, and then outward again at the very bottom. That perfect in-out pattern is what gives you that powerful, springy S-shape.
Okay, so that's the ideal. But what happens when that spring gets all bent out of whack? And let's be honest, our modern lives, all the sitting, all the staring at screens, that's usually what does it. Let's dive into what happens when these beautiful curves start to go wrong.
So there are a few common ways this can go sideways. First, you've got hyperlordosis. That's too much of that inward curve in your low back. You might know it as sway back. And yeah, that can lead to a lot of chronic pain. Then there's the one we see all the time now, hyperkyphosis. That's the classic hunchback look we get from slouching over our phones and computers. It's not just about how it looks, it can mess with your breathing, and it's what causes that turtleneck posture. And here's the kicker. You can also have a flat back. This happens when you lose that natural lower back curve, and it's terrible for shock absorption. It puts you at a way higher risk for things like disc injuries.
This is so important. When we hear sit up straight, we need to stop thinking flatten your spine. That's not the goal at all. Good posture isn't about being a straight board. It's about lengthening. Imagine a string pulling the top of your head up to the ceiling, creating space while keeping those beautiful natural curves.
Okay, so this all leads to a really key idea, especially if you do things like Pilates or physical therapy. We have to talk about finding your balance, and that means understanding the difference between a neutral spine and something called an imprint. Getting this right is everything for training your core the right way. So, neutral spine, that's the gold standard. That's the goal. It's that perfectly balanced, efficient S-curve we've been geeking out about. You can think of it as your body's optimal default setting. It's the position where everything is aligned just right and your muscles can do their job without extra strain. This is what we're shooting for day to day. And you can actually find this yourself pretty easily. Just lie on your back, bend your knees with your feet flat on the floor. Now notice your lower back. You don't want it jammed flat into the floor, but you also don't want it arched up super high.
The sweet spot, your neutral spine, is when there's just a little bit of space under there, enough to slide your fingers through but not your whole hand. That's it. That's your natural curve.
Okay, but wait, here's where it gets confusing, and maybe you've experienced this. If neutral is the goal, why does your Pilates instructor sometimes tell you to completely flatten your back against the mat? It feels like they're telling you to do the exact opposite of everything we just said. It's a total contradiction, right? Well, here's the solution to that puzzle. They're two different tools for two totally different jobs. Think of it like this. Neutral spine is your everyday setting. It's for walking around, for standing, for stability. Imprint, that's when you flatten your back, is a specific training tool. You only use it temporarily during certain exercises, usually to really fire up your deep abs or to give your low back some extra support when things get tough. So one isn't good and the other bad. They just have different jobs.
So as we start to pull all this together, it becomes really clear, doesn't it? Your core isn't just about those six-pack abs we see on magazine covers. The real core, the foundation of everything, is this incredible, unseen structure deep inside you.
All right, so let's hit the big takeaways one more time. Remember, your spine is a spring, not a rod. A healthy spine is all about balancing those inward and outward curves. Neutral spine is your ideal, everyday default setting. And Imprint is a special tool you pull out for training.
You know, it's easy to get caught up with how our muscles look on the outside, but the real powerhouse, the true foundation of all your strength and movement, is that amazing S-curve in your back. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Your spine is literally your core support system. What are you doing for it today?